It is foolish to tear one's hair in grief, as though sorrow would be made less by baldness. Live as brave men, and if fortune is adverse, front its blows with brave hearts. Brevity is the best recommendation of speech, whether in a senator or an orator. Life is nothing without friendship. Advice in old age is foolish. For what can be more absurd than to increase our provisions for the road the nearer we approach to our journey's end? Hatreds not vowed and concealed are to be feared more than those openly declared. Justice consists in doing no injury to men, decency in giving them no offense. I am not ashamed to confess I am ignorant of what I do not know. Knowledge which is divorced from justice may be called cunning rather than wisdom. The pursuit, even of the best things, ought to be calm and tranquil. A room without books is like a body without a soul. What he sees often, he does not wonder at, even if he does not know why it is. If something happens which he has not seen before, he thinks it a prodigy. Nothing is more damaging to a state, nothing so contrary to justice and law, nothing less appropriate to a civilized community, than to force through a measure by violence where a country has a settled and established constitution. If you have a garden and a library, you have everything you need. It is useless to know what shall come to pass. It is a miserable thing to be tormented to no purpose. It is not by muscle, speed, or physical dexterity that great things are achieved, but by reflection, force of character, and judgment. Nature has planted in our minds an insatiable longing to see the truth. The safety of the people shall be the highest law. According to the law of nature, it is only fair that no one should become richer through damages and injuries suffered by another. Next to God we are nothing. To God we are everything. Every one is least known to himself, and it is very difficult for a man to know himself. Times are bad. Children no longer obey their parents, and everyone is writing a book. Prudence is the knowledge of things to be sought, and those to be shunned. Whatever you do, do with all your might. Because all the sick do not recover, therefore medicine is not an art. Your enemies can kill you, but only your friends can hurt you. He who obeys with modesty appears worthy of being someday a commander. The life of the dead is placed in the memory of the living. Men ought to be most annoyed by the sufferings which come from their own faults. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. There is no praise in being upright, where no one can, or tries to corrupt you. What is thine is mine, and all mine is thine. the multitude of fools as a protection to the wise. Not to know what has been transacted in former times as to be always a child. If no use is made of the labors of past ages, the world must remain always in the infancy of knowledge. What is so beneficial to the people is liberty, which we see not only to be greedily sought after by men, but also by beasts, and to be prepared in all things. In everything truth surpasses the imitation and copy. Our span of life is brief, but is long enough for us to live well and honestly. The contemplation of celestial things will make a man both speak and think more sublimely and magnificently when he descends to human affairs. Friendship improves happiness and abates misery by doubling our joys and dividing our grief. No power is strong enough to be lasting if it labors under the weight of fear. If we are not ashamed to think it, we should not be ashamed to say it. The higher our position, the more modestly we should behave. The authority of those who teach is often an obstacle to those who want to learn. The wise man knows nothing if he cannot benefit from his wisdom. Wisdom is not only to be acquired, but also to be utilized. No wise man ever thought that a traitor should be trusted. Virtue is a habit of the mind, consistent with nature and moderation and reason. Our minds possess by nature an insatiable desire to know the truth. It is not only arrogant, but it is profligate, for a man to disregard the world's opinion of himself. In a disordered mind, as in a disordered body, soundness of health is impossible. A mind without instruction can no more bear fruit than can a field, however fertile, without cultivation. To be ignorant of what occurred before you were born is to remain always a child. In all matters, before beginning, a diligent preparation should be made.